What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode review for Mobile Suit Gundam GQuuuuuX. This is episode 6, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
Yeah. So I would say we're kind of, I guess we're starting to build up with the whole conflict with, well, I guess like the reemergence of the conflict between Zeon and the Earth Federation.
Well, at the end of the episode, yeah, because the majority of the episode is actually, of course, just follows up on what happened the last one with Machu finding out that Yan piloted the GQuuuuuX without her knowing about it. But it's like I said before we started the recording, it's like she didn't have a choice but to do that, considering Machu was, wasn't able to do that at the time. So she decided to do it herself. And as we saw at the end of the last episode, she confronted, she saw Nyan come out of the Gundam. So she's upset because her, I was talking about this too. Like, it doesn't make any sense that she's so, she's just so upset over the fact that she thought that her and Shuji were the only ones that were able to, see the Kira together. And the fact that I guess Nyan and Shuji could also see it, makes her, I don't know, like makes her feel, it just makes her kind of like jealous, I guess. But my issue is that we still don't even really know exactly what the Kira even is. Like, they haven't explained it yet. And like, that's the first issue. The second issue is Machu and Nyan and Shuji, as far as we know, like, they barely know each other, right? Like, they act like but Machu acts like they have this really close relationship, and yet they've probably only known each other, like, I don't know, I could guess maybe for about a week or so, possibly, if I could guess. But it doesn't seem like they've really known each other that long. So, like, but she's acting like they're, like, really close friends. Like, this would work if they had known each other for a long time or something, or we've had, like, a buildup of their relationship. But none of that's happened. I mean, this is all happening in, like, episode 6, where, like, they just met, like, at least in terms of the series timeline, like, episode, like, what, like, episode 3 or something like that. So, I mean, it's just kind of ridiculous for this to already be happening. Like, this is something that I feel like shouldn't have happened until, like, maybe later on in the series if they were going to go this route. But it's just weird that this is happening right now, and to me it feels unearned that there's this guy, like, a drama with Machu, Shuji, and Nyan. It's almost like this sort of, not like a love triangle. Well, it seems like they're going in that direction, but it seems like that's what they're building towards, which, again, like, in my opinion, feels unearned because there hasn't really been any development with the relationship of, like, Machu and Shuji and Nyan and Shuji, and it feels one-sided on both of their ends with both Nyan and Machu, because Shuji doesn't really seem to be aware that they even feel a certain type of way towards him, because all he seems to care about is the Gundam, and he doesn't really care about anything else, or doesn't seem to realize that either of them really, like, care about him in any way. So it just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Like, Shuji, like his desires is related to what the Gundam wants, while at the same time, Machu, like,
I want to say too, like, there is a scene with him and Yan in the episode where, I forget exactly what he says. He says something along the lines of, well, the Gundam likes you, Nyan, and Nyan seems to interpret that as him saying, I guess, that he likes her or something, and she gets all embarrassed. But he clearly says the Gundam, but she just doesn't seem to want to even acknowledge he said the Gundam. Like, she just thinks that it's him that feels that way, but he's saying it's the Gundam. So and then Machu overhears this, and then she gets upset, and I'm like, why are you getting upset? Like, what? It doesn't make any sense. It's so ridiculous.
And of course, well, she kind of like lets go of her anger, over Nyan, when she overhears that one of the leaders of the Pomeranians is planning to throw or sell her out, including Shuji, by giving him the information on the GQuuuuuX and the Red Gundam.
Yeah, because there was a meeting earlier in the episode with Sharia Bahul and I forget her name, one of the members of the Pomeranians. And apparently, well, we learned why, I guess, that Sharia Bull has not been doing anything, even though he knows that they have the Gundam. Apparently, he's just he doesn't want it back because, or at least not right now, because he sees it as them like create like getting combat data, I guess, for the GQuuuuuuX. So that's why he's not like
Yeah.
trying to get it back.
Yeah, and of course, Machu overhears a meeting with the Pomeranian leader and one of the other members, uh, and then like she walks in soon after one of the leader like leaves the meeting, and then she gets told that you have to like leave the Gundam, not participate in clan battle anymore, and just move on with your life and such.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, Machu can't let that go. Otherwise, both Nyan and Shuji are going to be put in grave danger because of this. So she decides to move forward with continuing with like, I guess, going through one more clan battle with Shuji, and then of course already making amends with Nyan over what she overheard with the Pomeranian leader and her deal with Chalia.
Yeah, and then also there's a scene where there's like, I guess, a parent teacher meeting with Machu's mom, and where she basically said like, I guess, where she filled out like what kind of career she wanted to have. She said she wanted to go to Earth, and I guess that that made her mom really upset, and then and then after that she just kind of runs off, and I think that's where she goes back to Nyan and Shuji.
Yeah. It just seems weird that she has, like in the same episode, she just has this falling out with Neon and then immediately reconciles with her, like literally within the same episode.
I don't know. Like it's like it felt like that was going to be some kind of some conflict that would go on maybe for a few episodes, I guess. But yeah, it just like as soon as it gets brought up, it's resolved. So
Yeah. But one of the other big plot points that happens behind the scenes in this episode is of course the upcoming arrival of of Cassilia arriving at Side 6. Of course, the Side 6 colony is do not really have a favorable opinion on Xeon being there, and with Cassilia going over there for some kind of meeting, that is placing like Side 6 on edge. And you can see that with Xavier, like one of the original pilots of the Gundam, was about to be killed by I guess some of the police officers in Side 6 before Xavier gets rescued by Chalia Bull at the last second. Of course, he knows that by doing this, that this is going to cause a lot more tension with Xeon and Side 6. So he arranges something to have this whole thing covered up. And then at the same time, we also get to meet Federation agents, who are,
well,
I think, a couple of them we know from Gundam Zeta.
Yeah. So we learned about this. I guess this new, what was it, like? I guess a new faction of the ESF. I forget what their name. It was some really stupid name, like, but it's basically like, I guess, this new Earth, that like radical Earth faction, and I guess that should have tipped me off when I heard that. But when we find out that the leader of this new faction is the what was his name again? Like the dude from the original Zeta.
You mean Bascone?
Bascone, yeah. Like, so he was one of the Titans in the original Zeta, in Gundam Zeta. And as soon as I saw him, I couldn't remember exactly who it was, but I was like, oh, I recognize that guy. And then I looked it up. I was like, and yeah, it's like, okay, so they introduced him. He's from Zeta. And then they also introduced a few other things that was in Zeta, which was kind of surprising. First, the other thing being cyber new types. And I think you mentioned that blonde character that shows up. He was also in Zeta, which I actually forgot who he was.
His name is Gates Kappa.
Yeah.
And there's also like one other character that's accompanying him. I think he called her Do.
Yeah.
I don't recognize her from.
I'm guessing she's a new character. And I mean, so because apparently she's piloting the Psycho Gundam, which was also from Zeta. And the person who piloted the Psycho Gundam in Zeta was for Murasame, but I don't know if she's going to have any involvement in this series, though. But it seems like this character is, I guess, going to be piloting the Psycho Gundam. So I guess it'll be interesting to actually see the Psycho Gundam show up. But it's going to. I'm really hoping they're not going to like get rid of it as soon as it shows up. Like I don't know if it's going to be involved in a clan battle or something like that, because that's kind of what they ended up doing, I guess, with the Black TriStar, because they were in one of the previous episodes and then they immediately just got taken out in that same episode. So the Psycho Gundam definitely. I mean, it definitely should not be so easily dealt with because it's it's a pretty like dangerous like mobile armor. So I don't know like how. I mean, unless they just use new type nonsense to get rid of it. But
Yeah, I don't. I didn't see any indication that they're planning on participating in clan battle.
yeah,
But
and also judging by the next episode preview, it looks like things are going to, I guess, potentially escalate, and it doesn't look like they're involved in necessarily a clan battle in the next episode, but it's hard to tell. But it looks like something there's going to be a lot more going on. So hopefully, I'm just hoping at this point, like especially considering they said that the Pomeranians have already like paid off their debts or whatever, and they don't need Machu anymore. That maybe we're moving on from like all the clan battle stuff, and maybe it'll like transition into something else. That's kind of where I'm hoping it's going, especially with them bringing up this Radical Earth faction that's, I guess, technically maybe supposed to be like the new version of the Titans. So maybe they're going somewhere with that, and also considering they have Cassilia showing up at the end of this episode, it seems like things are finally kind of moving in a somewhat interesting direction, because I'm more interested in what's going on with that, honestly, than what's going on with I guess the drama with Shuji and Machu and Yan, because honestly it feels really forced and it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
yeah, it's just really weird that that they just have her like having this fallout and then immediately reconcile like literally within the same episode. It doesn't make any sense for them.
Yeah,
You know,
I feel like they
that
really just
just
should have
immediately
developed both
happened.
of their characters before they have stuff like this happen, especially like if in regards to any kind of like potential like relationship drama or whatever they're trying to hint at with that. But yeah, kind of a mixed bag of the episode for me, because like some of it was just kind of silly with the drama between them, but then they introduced some of the Zeta characters and concepts from Zeta, and that kind of had piqued my interest a little bit, and especially considering Cassilia is showing up, so maybe they're going to do some more like, I guess, world building stuff, and it kind of explain what's currently going on with the conflict of the Earth Federation and Xeon and stuff like that, because that honestly that's what
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more interested in. Um,
Yeah, they also did mention like I think they mentioned Supreme Commander Giran is also going to be involved
yeah.
too.
Um, well,
So
and it'll be interesting too, because Garen never really interacted with with the Titans from Zeta, because Garen was dead. At that point in the original series. So I guess it'll be interesting to
mhm.
see how they interact with each other, especially, and also Cassilia was dead too. So yeah, I guess that'll be interesting to see these characters that would never have interacted in the original timeline actually like see how they deal with each other. Um,
Yeah, I mean with all these different characters being, I guess you could say, reintroduced into this newer timeline, I'm still curious on whether or not they'll bring in Amuro and some of the other
yeah,
Federation
I'm
characters.
wondering if they're saving like the reveal of Amuro for like later or for some like big moment maybe. Considering he is like the main character of the original series. Um,
Mhm.
well, and Amuro, and also like I'm wondering if Camille has any involvement as well. Um, so I don't know. I mean that's honestly what I'm more interested in. I'm wondering, like, considering it's an alternate timeline. I'm interested to see like what roles these characters from the original series will play in the new timeline, and what's going to happen with them. I mean, I'd like to be interested in what's going on with the new characters, but so far the series just hasn't given me much of a reason to care about what's going on with the new characters like Machu and Nyan and Shuji, because their only motivation
Yeah,
seems to be like, oh, I want to go to Earth. Um, or what was it? Machu's motivation is like, I want to go to Earth to like swim in the waters on Earth or something like that, or I mean, like, okay, I don't know, like that's her only real motivation so far.
yeah, like she doesn't have like any, like any like main objective. Like like Amuro does, like in wanting to fight Zeon or anything like that. She like as of right now, Machu and the others don't really have like like they don't have like a big enemy they can go up against
Yeah.
at this time, which is kind of a problem. They're just dealing with the whole like personal drama of like what's going on with with themselves and what they want to do in clan battle and whatnot. But it seems like with what's going on with the leader of the Pomeranians um, moving to sell them out, I guess you could say there's that Machu and the others are going to be involved in the conflict with Xeon and potentially with the Federation being involved as well.
Yeah, like maybe they're going to be caught in the middle of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really have much else to say about the episode though. Hopefully this, the series will go somewhere from here. It seems like, there is somewhere it's it's maybe like transitioning to go somewhere else as opposed to just like these clan battle tournaments. But yeah, I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
Yeah. I mean, I am liking that they're starting to pick up the plot a little bit more with Xeon and such. But I really wish that they could, develop the main cast a little bit better than how they're handling them right now.
Yeah,
It's just,
I mean, I feel like they should have done that before they, the plot really like escalated to where it seems like it's going now. Like they should have actually like developed Shuji and Nyan and Machu because so far like they're just, in my opinion, they're just not really interesting characters.
yeah, it's just like we still don't know like what's going on with Shuji and how he came in possession with the Red Gundam, which originally belonged to Char, and of course, like Chalia like wants to regain possession of the Red Gundams just so he can have some idea of what happened to Char, during the prologue. But as of right now, we still don't have that. We still don't even have a hint or like any sort of clue what happened to Char since then.
Yeah, there's just still so many unanswered questions. And now with this episode, I feel like they've introduced even more questions and not really answered any questions, just introduced more. So I don't know. Hopefully they'll it'll actually like it's tied together in a satisfying way instead of just sort of leaving us with even more questions.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see. But yeah, guys, that all being said, until next time, we will see you all later.